Fantasy 5. I'm Brandon Rowe along with my partner Nick Bolliger. We had a pretty good fantasy week this week for you. Playing me didn't go as well as I thought. I sat some players that I shouldn't have and started some players that I shouldn't have. And you had Marvin Jones. You had Marvin Jones. I'm just going to leave it at that. So we're on to next week. So we're going to start with people who you should start. Who you starting?
I'm saying start Carlos Hyde, playing against a bad run defense.
Yep.
He scored 2 touchdowns on Seattle. Week 1, he scored 2 touchdowns on the Rams. I'm really saying he's going to have a big week against Dallas.
Yep.
Start Carlos Hyde.
And I'm going to say that you need to start Jeremy Hill for the Cincinnati Bengals. Had a pretty big week last week, and I think that's going to roll over into next week. They're going to try to rely on him more than Giovanni Bernard going against the Dolphins, who doesn't have the greatest rush defense. So I'd say start Jeremy Hill. He's going to do some work receiving out of the backfield, rushing, and I think that he's just going to have a big week overall against the Dolphins. So the people who you should sit, who do you think they should sit?
I think you should sit any Falcons running back. They're playing against the Carolina Panthers, who got beat pretty bad last week.
Yeah.
They're going to come out with a chip on their shoulder. They're going to want to win. Their defensive line is the core strength of their defense anyway. Yeah. So, really, Falcons are going to have trouble running the ball as they have so far this season.
And for me, I'm going to say sit Mike Evans or Vincent Jackson. Whoever you got, sit both of them because they're playing the Denver Broncos this week. And Buccaneers haven't been looking strong against any type of defense that has potential in passing or rushing defense. So I'd sit Mike Evans or Vincent Jackson. So thank you for tuning in this week. Catch you next week.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nick Bolliger here with my partner Brandon Rowe. We are back with NMB Sports predicting Week 4 of the NFL. So, our first game, Dolphins at the Bengals.
This is an interesting game. It's a Thursday night game. And honestly, looking at both teams last week, is it bad to say that I'm more excited to see their uniforms, the color rush uniforms on Thursday Night Football? I'm going to look at this game as a running game. I don't think Ryan Tannehill or Andy Dalton are going to have a big game, but I'm going to look at the running games of both teams. And I'm going to say that the Bengals got this one by 10, and I feel like Jeremy Hill scores a touchdown and receives one. I think the 24-14. Bengals got the win.
Is it also sad to say I hope both these teams lose? And I think the Dolphins don't have anybody to cover A.J. Green.
They don't.
I don't think their offensive line is going to be good enough to stop Geno Atkins. And I also think Jeremy Hill, again.
Vontaze Burfict is going to be back this week.
He's going to play with a chip on his shoulder.
He's going to be blitzing. He's going to be
I'm going Bengals.
Off, man.
Bengals by 17.
By 17. All right. Next we're going to go to Colts at Jags. Who are you looking at this game?
I've been going more so with the Jaguars this year, and so far it hasn't really helped me out. The Colts are a pretty good passing offense.
Yep.
They've got a couple good targets. They finally picked up a win last week.
Yep.
I'm going to go with the Colts by 7 over the inexperienced Jaguars.
I've been going with the Jags all year too, and I'm going to keep it going. I'm going to say that they beat Indianapolis by 10. I feel like Blake Bortles, he's been throwing a lot of picks lately, but I feel like he finally gets into that groove with Allen Robinson and TJ Yeldon. They finally get in that groove on offense, and I feel like they beat the Colts this week.
So we have the Titans and the Texans.
Yep.
Texans obviously at home, coming off a tough game for them.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I think they're much better equipped to handle the run of the Titans, though, because the Titans are going to be heavy power football, and they're going to try to run the ball up the middle a lot.
And that's all the Texans have is a front seven.
Right. I mean, you're not going to run up the middle with Vince Wilfork clogging the middle and then Jadeveon Clowney and J.J. Watt right there.
Right.
It's just not a formula for success against the Texans.
You're right.
I think the Texans win by 10.
I think I'm going to go the same way. I feel like it won't be a high-scoring game, and I feel like the Titans are going to do something with DeMarco Murray. But I feel like the Texans are just going to get the edge on this one, 1 by 10, in Houston. All right, so we got the Browns at Redskins. Who you taking in this one?
Well, once again, I hope both teams lose, but I'm actually going to take the Browns here. You know, Redskins looked all right last week. I think the Browns, you know, they had a little bit of a bright spot with Terrell Pryor last week.
They did,
He looked
actually.
Very nice. Gary
23 fantasy points.
Barnage finally picked up a little bit. You know, obviously still a question mark at quarterback,
Right.
but I'm taking the Browns by 3.
You know, and I'm going to have to agree with you on that. I'm going to take the Browns, but I'm going to take them by 7. I feel like with Terrell Pryor, quarterback is still a question. You do have Gary Barnage who's starting to feel the flow of the offense already. And then you have Isaiah Crowell, who's actually in the top 10 fantasy running backs. I feel like once they get down in the red zone, they just pound Isaiah Crowell into the end zone.
All right, so we have Seattle at the Jets.
Mm-hmm. All right. This is an interesting game. Both teams, Seattle obviously found their mark in their offense, but Russell Wilson is hurt with a knee injury, so I'm not sure who is it. Trevon Boykin is their backup.
Trevon Boykin.
I feel like he did all right going in. He just had to manage the game, kind of like Jacoby Brissett did.
Yes.
But you know, it's in New York. I'm going to take the Jets, and I feel like Matt Forte is going to have a good game. And because obviously Ryan Fitzpatrick throwing 6 picks in one game, it's going to have to start going to the run game after this.
So Seattle, my team, I'm taking them by 28. This is a bold prediction. Even with Trevon Boykin at quarterback, he is very similar to Russell Wilson. He actually had a higher completion percentage than Russell Wilson, much less targets, and much, you know, he didn't have as much game time as Russell Wilson, but he played
Someone's biased.
very similar to Russell Wilson. A lot of people consider him the second coming of Russell Wilson. I'm taking Seattle by 28. Christian Michaels has a big game.
All right, so another matchup we should look forward to this week is Bills at Patriots. This is the last game before Tom Brady comes back, and this is the really... I'm not sure how I feel about this game. The Bills looked good against Arizona last week. So, who are you taking in this game?
Now, first of all, is Jacoby Brissett going to play?
I think it's going to be Jimmy Garoppolo because he was a game-time decision against Houston.
Right.
And I feel like now that he has, what is it? He has like 9 days to rest up. So I feel like he's going to be playing with Edelman as the backup.
All right. So I'm taking the Patriots by 28.
Okay.
Now, I know Arizona was tight, or Arizona got blown out by the Bills. Excuse me. But the Patriots are on a whole nother level when they have a pocket passing quarterback.
Right. I'm also going to do that, but I'm going to take the Patriots by 24. I feel like every time the Bills play at New England, it's like they have stage fright there.
Yeah.
And New England always comes out on top. If we actually look at previous matchups, I'm going to see that New England always gets the upper edge in New England. Like 42-30, 40-32 is the finals, and you'll have 2013 is always the finals around there. So it's either going to be a high-scoring game or it's going to be a low-scoring game. And I feel like New England's got the upper edge in this one. All right, so we're looking at Carolina, Atlanta as well. Who are you looking forward to in this game?
Well, I think Julio Jones is going to have a big week in Week 4. I think Mohamed Sanu is going to have a big week in order for Atlanta to come out on top. I like his matchup against Carolina, so I'm going to take Atlanta. I'm going to take Atlanta by 10.
You know, I'm going to go against that, and I'm going to say Carolina. I feel like Cam's going to come out all guns blazing, and I feel like he's going to lead that team to a 7-point victory against Atlanta, but I feel like it will be a high-scoring game. We're talking 35-28 type of game. Give me Carolina by 7 and the win in Atlanta.
So we have the Raiders at the Ravens. Now the Ravens are 3-0, Raiders 2-1.
Right. When I look at this game, I'm looking at a team who really shouldn't be undefeated, but are playing like they are.
Right.
And you look at a team that should be undefeated, but isn't really playing like they are. And I feel like Oakland could easily get this win, but I feel like the Ravens have their confidence all the way up, and they're playing in Baltimore. So you got to give me the Ravens going to go 4-0, I feel like they're going to win this game by 3. It's going to come down to the last second, and it's going to be definitely a battle between quarterbacks and Derek Carr and Joe Flacco, depending on how the quarterback plays, depending on who gets the win.
Now, I agree with the fact the Ravens shouldn't be undefeated,
Right.
but they're playing like they are. Now, their confidence is through the roof, and they're playing with no fear of their opponent. But I just think the Raiders, now they're young, but I still think they have too much
Right.
for the Ravens,
On both
and I'm
sides
going
of
to
the ball.
I'm going to take them by 7.
Okay. So yeah, the game's 1 o'clock in Baltimore. All right, so we got the Lions at Bears. Who are you taking in this one?
Well, third case of I hope they both lose, but I think the Lions are going to win by 14. Marvin Jones is going to have another big game as he
Yep.
did against Green Bay.
You know, that's all I could say. I feel like Lions are going to beat the Bears. Bears are like acting like Care Bears out there. They really aren't acting like the Chicago Bears. They aren't tackling. They aren't pursuing the ball on defense. They're not catching balls. The only one that they have going for him is Alshon Jeffrey.
Yeah.
And he's hurt right now. So give me the Lions. It's going to be a blowout in Chicago.
All right, so next game we have Broncos at Tampa Bay.
You know, I really don't like Denver, and everyone knows that. Everyone knows that I don't want them to win. Everyone knows that I really just want to go against them, but they make it hard to go against them. So I'm going to take Denver in a blowout in Tampa Bay. I feel like they're going to win by 3 scores, whether that be 3 touchdowns, whether that be 3 field goals. I feel like they're just going to win by 3 scores. So give me Denver over Tampa Bay.
Now, similar to you, I also don't like Denver, but I respect Denver. They're
That's
a very
right.
good team.
Right.
I also think they're going to blow Tampa Bay out. I mean, Tampa Bay couldn't even handle Arizona, who got blown out by the Bills.
Right.
So I'm taking Denver in a blowout win.
So this is another interesting game this week. One of the ones that I'm actually looking forward to is Rams-Arizona. Now, Arizona is definitely one of the question marks. Going into the season, they were a Super Bowl favorite, and now they're getting beat by really easy teams like Buffalo. Everyone expected them to go in there and just hand it to Buffalo. And they have the Rams this week. Great defense. You know, their offense is finally working with Todd Gurley. I don't know who to pick in this one, but if I had to lean one way, I would lean Los Angeles. I feel like Los Angeles is going to get the win this week, and it's going to be a win by 7.
You know, I've seen both these teams play several times. You know, my team, Seattle. I think Arizona, as usual, has the upper hand in this game. It's in Arizona. They usually win in Arizona when they
Right.
play the Rams. So I'm going to stick to tradition, and I'm going to go Arizona
All right.
in a tight game.
In a tight game. All right, so this next game, Saints and Chargers. Not looking forward to a lot in this game. It's going to be a very low-scoring game. You know, Brandon Cooks is probably going to be the star of this game on both sides, both teams. So I'm going to say that the Saints are going to win this by 10.
Yeah, I think the Saints might have a little bit more separation. San Diego's all right, but I'm going to say Saints by 14.
All right, that I'm looking forward to. The next game is Cowboys at 49ers. Everyone knows that I'm a big fan of Ezekiel Elliott, and Dak Prescott is just doing his work with that offense. So, I mean, the way 49ers are looking right now, you got to give me Dallas by 28.
You know, I also agree Dallas is going to win that game. I think it's going to be by 14 because I think Carlos Hyde's going to have a big week rushing against the Cowboys' lackluster run defense.
Yeah. So the primetime game this week,
Is
Sunday Night
Chiefs.
Football, Steelers, and you got to give me the Chiefs on this one. Le'Veon Bell comes back, and I feel like Le'Veon Bell is going to have a huge week. I feel like he's going to score all but one of their touchdowns. The other one's going to be to Antonio Brown. I feel like they're going to beat the Chiefs by 14. I feel like it's going to be 17-3.
I think the Chiefs are going to win. You know, they had a very good defensive week against the
did.
Jets. They picked off Ryan Fitzpatrick 5 times and had 8 turnovers, or forced 8 turnovers.
Yep.
Excuse me. And the Steelers had a very slow week against the Eagles. And I think the Chiefs are a much better defense than the Eagles. They have also a good offense. So I'm going to take the Chiefs by 10.
By 10. All right. So the Monday night game, obviously, is going to be Giants-Vikings. This is going to be an NFC showdown. I feel like right now the Vikings are hot, and I feel like the Giants just got knocked off a peg. So it's in Minnesota. you got to give me the Vikings by 3. But do not hold your grudge on Odell Beckham. Obviously, the Vikings aren't known for their pass defense. Their front seven is really where they're known. And so, give me the Vikings by 3. So, Vikings are going to win against the Giants.
I'm saying give me the Vikings by 28. I mean, you
Whoa.
hold Kelvin Benjamin to 0 receptions for
Yep.
0 yards, 1 target
Yeah.
to one of Cam Newton's favorite targets. They don't have, the Giants don't really have a run game that can penetrate the Vikings front
They
seven.
can't. They don't.
Now, their pass defense is very good. It's one of the better pass defenses in the league against a very prolific passing offense. But if Eli has a bad game, then
That's it.
they're done. So I'm going to say Vikings by 28.
All right. So thank you for tuning in this week, and we'll catch you next week.